I could go. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paula McKenzie, and I am the Chair and Competition Director for the Calgary Track Council. I'm honored to be your MC for today's announcement. I'd first like to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 7 territory, home of the Blackfoot Confederacy of the Siksika, Kainai, as well as Tsuut'ina, and Stoney Nakoda nations of Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Wesley. This land also has deep importance for the Métis people of Alberta. I'd like to acknowledge our speakers today: Minister of Tourism and Sport, Joseph Schow; Stephen Bordo, CEO of Due North Events; and Rachel Ludwick, CEO of Tourism Canmore Kananaskis. To kick off today's exciting announcement, I invite Alberta Minister of Tourism and Sport, Joseph Schow, to the podium.
Well, thank you, Paula, for that introduction, and good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm proud to be with you to announce how Alberta's government is continuing to strengthen our province's sporting legacy. Investing in world-class sport events drives economic growth, creates jobs, and supports businesses. And that's good news for all Albertans. I'm thrilled to welcome 5 additional national and international sporting events to our province, which Alberta's government is helping to make possible through the Major Sporting Event Grant Program. The 2024 IWWF World U17 Water Ski Championships, which wrapped up a few days ago here just south of Calgary. The Legion National Youth Track and Field Championships taking place right here at Foothills Athletic Park this weekend. The 2024 America's Triathlon Cup taking place in Edmonton later this month. The 2024 World Archery Field Championship in Lac La Biche this September. And the 2025 FIS Para Nordic World Cup taking place in Canmore next year. These events welcome thousands of athletes and fans worldwide to the province to experience Alberta's stunning natural beauty, world-class facilities, and our famous warmth and hospitality. Major sporting events bring enormous benefit for Albertans, from economic growth, expanding tourism, and generating jobs, to lasting feelings of pride in our province, our athletes, and our communities. In total, Alberta's government has provided more than $2.5 million in funding to support the 21 major national and international sporting events occurring across the province in 2024. These major sporting events represent an economic impact in the hundreds of millions. The Legion National Youth Track and Field Championships alone are expected to generate nearly $3 million for the local economy. This is an incredible return on investment. But more importantly, hosting these events in Alberta brings communities together, giving Albertans the chance to see the best around the world compete in their own backyards. It allows our homegrown talent to compete in front of the home crowd, and it inspires the next generation of Albertans to get involved in sports because they see it's possible to chase their dreams. Today's announcement is another chapter in our ongoing commitment to ensuring Alberta is the best place in the world to live, to visit, and to play. And I'm thrilled to share more funding for world-class sporting events that will be announced in the coming months. Thank you, and I'll now turn the time over to Stephen from Due North.
Going to bring the box out there. Thank you, Minister Schow, and thank you, everyone, for being here today. My name is Stephen Bordo. I'm the CEO of Due North Events. We are a not-for-profit organizing committee based in Alberta, and we organize different international sporting events here in the province, such as triathlon, beach volleyball, 3-on-3 basketball, athletics, ice climbing, indoor volleyball, cycling, and we've been doing this for over 20 years. Since 1998, we're one of the longest organizing committees in the province, along with our friends down at Cross Country Ski in Canmore, and we're very pleased, and I'm very proud to be here as part of this announcement. You know, Alberta has hosted international events at the highest level for, as long as I can remember. Even when I was an aspiring young triathlete who very quickly realized I was not going to ever make it on the field of play, and I turned my attention to volunteering and then on to organizing. Alberta has always been at the top of the game in Canada and top of the game internationally. In a few short weeks, up at Edmonton, we will be hosting the 2024 America's Cup Triathlon. This is the 22nd international triathlon we've hosted in this province, and we are well known as the triathlon capital in Canada and even in North America. Our team and our volunteers and officials and athletes have traveled around the world spreading the expertise and helping out other committees and organizers in other countries. And it's a very unique export we have coming out of Alberta. You wouldn't think of it, but our sport management and our high performance and our event management from Alberta is world renowned. This year in August, our America's Cup is a test event as we build towards hosting the Multisport World Championships in our province in 2027. This is a true sport tourism event with over $30 million in economic impact alone and over 8,000 international visitors that will be coming to our province to enjoy our beautiful mountains, our beautiful people, our food, our culture, and our outstanding volunteers. I often get asked how I got into this business, and I often get asked why I do what I do. And it's really for the impact. I think we can all agree we've all been impacted by events in some way over our lives, either attending an event, officiating, volunteering at an event, our kids participating at the event. And it really comes down to a number of things. Number one is reputation. I've already spoken to how Alberta has such an amazing reputation internationally in the sport of triathlon and in hosting. It's infrastructure, it's the place, it's investing in equipment, it's investing in facilities that are needed for our children, our next generation, and even for ourselves to enjoy. It's about community capacity building. Our volunteers, our officials, our coaches, it's about building expertise in our community. Alberta has more top-level international triathlon officials, actually, than any other province in the country. And as I mentioned, they travel around the world spreading their knowledge and expertise thanks to the hosting that's happened here for over 20 years. It's the industry. Our event hosting sector and sport hosting is a small sector, but a mighty sector. And it's definitely an export that's very unique to our province that we're able to spread that. The economic, Minister Schow spoke to the economic return from these investments. This is real dollars coming into our communities and into our tourism sector, into our sports sector, into restaurants, into hosting, which is, amazing. Sport development and social, of course, we can all get touched at. We all have a story. We've heard of the stories of many of our Olympians that are competing in Paris. They went down to the local track. They participated. They watched the international athletes come and participate, and that was the driving force that gave them, the desire and the passion to explore their dreams. So none of this is possible without the partners from the different levels of government, our tourism partners in the province of Alberta. So I just like to say thank you once again to Mr. Schow and the Alberta government for their support and everyone for being here today. And now I'd like to introduce Rachel Ludwick, the CEO of Tourism Canmore Kananaskis.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm Rachel Ludwick. I'm the CEO of Tourism Canmore Kananaskis. I would like to start saying I could not be happier to be here today. This announcement underscores Minister Schow's commitment to tourism and the value it brings to all Albertans. Thank you, Minister Schow, for this generous support and for the unwavering commitment of the Alberta government towards promoting sports tourism in our beautiful province. We at Tourism Canmore Kananaskis are deeply grateful for this funding announcement, especially for the support for the 2025 Para-Nordic World Cup to be held at the iconic Canmore Nordic Centre. This support highlights the importance of sports tourism, particularly during our winter month, when such international events bring substantial economic and social benefits to our destination and community. Sports tourism is a vital component of our local economy. Events like the Cross Country World Cup and the Biathlon World Cup, hosted in Canmore and supported by TCK, have not only put Canmore on the world stage, but also provided significant economic uplift to our region. These events draw visitors from around the globe, fill our hotels, and boost our local businesses, all while showcasing the astonishing beauty of Canmore and Kananaskis. I would be remiss to not give a shout out to the Canmore World Cup Society for their hard work attracting these World Cup events and delivering flawless World Cups on the world stage. The Canmore Nordic Centre, a legacy venue from the 1988 Winter Olympics, continues to be a beacon for world-class competitions. Being the host destination for the Para-Nordic World Cup is an honor that highlights our destination's commitment to inclusivity in sports and our dedication to providing astonishing adventures that will transform the way people live in the world. These events nourish our souls and embody the spirit of our community. The economic impact of hosting such prestigious events cannot be overstated. They help sustain our local economy during traditionally quieter tourism months and provide opportunities for our community to come together and celebrate the spirit of sport and adventure. As we look forward to welcoming these athletes and spectators from around the world, our community eagerly anticipates the excitement and prestige that the Para-Nordic World Cup will bring. This event would not be possible without the crucial support of the Alberta government and Minister Schow. We extend our heartfelt appreciation to you being a champion of sports tourism and for ensuring that Canmore and Kananaskis continue to thrive as premier destinations for adventure and competition. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. The investment made by the Ministry of Tourism and Sport through the Major Sport Event Grant and Program has enabled the Calgary Track Council to produce a world-class track and field event for almost 1,000 athletes across Canada. You can see many of them training in the background. This week in Paris, we witnessed time and again the commitment and strength of the Athletics Canada team. Their journey began at a junior high track, a community track in bumpy grass, on dirt tracks, with winter training inside school gyms and community halls. Less than 10 years ago, 3 of this week's Canadian Olympic medalists, Ethan Katzberg, Cameron Rogers, and Alicia Newman, competed at the Legion National Youth Track and Field Championships back in their day. Those U16 and U18 athletes had a dream, and this week, that dream came true. Dreams alone are not enough. Our athletes need places to practice, coaches to train them, and officials to ensure they are challenged at competitive events. The financial support we have received from the Government of Alberta has ensured that the Calgary Track Council is able to provide the equipment and facilities needed to host this event. Investment in sport plays a crucial role in creating opportunities for our student athletes. It helps us provide the necessary environment and fund essential programs that nurture both their physical skills and personal growth. We are so thrilled that you're with us here today to see firsthand this investment at work. I'll now pass this over to Amber Edgerton, Press Secretary for the Minister of Tourism and Sport, to conduct the Q&A portion of this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. That brings us to the end of the formal portion of today's announcement. So we'll now move to the media question and answer portion. We have time for one question and one follow-up, and I'd ask that media identify yourself and your outlet prior to asking your questions. We'll start in person, and then we'll go to reporters on the line. Any media in person who would like to ask a question, please queue up at the mic.
Yeah, Aaron with Livewire Calgary. Question for the minister, please. Minister, can you give us a breakdown of what some of the grant funding has been for these various events?
Sorry, with the grant funding,
What the grant funding, the individual amounts for these events?
So I won't go into the details of all the grant funding, but going through the major sports events grants, they cap it at $250,000. And when we receive applications, we want to make sure that we're able to support as many events as possible. So we want to, as you say, get as many kids playing as possible. So this grant is a true testament to our commitment to making sure more kids, more youth around the province, and also making sure that we're hosting these world-class events here in Alberta. So I like to think of it more as the investment both in the future of athletics, the future of athletes who are coming out of the province, but also in tourism and recognizing that we have world-class facilities right here in Alberta, and it gives us the chance to showcase those.
Question for Paula, please.
Hi.
Hi, Paula. What does an event like the Legion Nationals look like if there wasn't provincial funding for it?
We couldn't host this event if there wasn't provincial funding. It's crucial to this event. We want to provide this competitive experience to these U16 and U18 athletes, and without the funding of the Government of Alberta, this wouldn't exist.
Acton Clarkin, CBC Calgary. This is for the Minister. All right, Minister, this is about the multi-sport fieldhouse approved to be built at this athletic park. So this week, a Calgary councillor says the city is waiting for the provincial government to provide the provincial share of the money to build the new fieldhouse. Do you have an update on when that provincial funding is coming through?
No, there'd be no update on that, not today. But what I can say is, generally across the board, we do understand the importance of having facilities where athletes can recreate, but they can also hone their skills to become world champions. And a lot of that happens in places like right here behind me. And that was actually mentioned by Paula earlier about some athletes who are realizing their dreams. There's a lot of ministries involved with those decisions. But what I can say is I have met with members from City Council, met with my colleagues, and understanding that sports infrastructure is essential to the future of athletic success in the province. It's just a question of how to make it happen in a fiscally responsible way.
And how much money will the province eventually put forward towards the project?
I think it's very premature to answer that question. I know that on a much smaller scale, my ministry has committed $30 million to the Active Communities Initiative, which is spreading money around the province to either build or refurbish existing athletic facilities. Again, understanding how important it is to have these places where people can come together, build community, and hone their athletic skills for Albertans of all ages.
Any more reporters in person with questions?
I got one here. 1 second.
For sure.
Darren from Post Media for the Minister.
Go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, I'm coming. It was just passed on to me. The future of Foothills track facility considering the city's Fieldhouse plans.
Sorry, can you say that again?
What's the future about the Foothills track facility here, considering the city's Fieldhouse plans in the future?
I think it'd be way too premature to get into that conversation. But going back to some of my original points, making sure we have facilities like this where athletes of all ages can train and hone their skills is vital, not just for the health and well-being of Albertans, but also for the future success of athletes coming out of the province of Alberta. So we'll continue with those conversations, but it'd be a bit too early to answer that question in terms of how much money or what the future holds for this facility.
Do you have a follow-up? Any more reporters in person with questions? Seeing none, we'll move to media on the line.
To ask a question, please press star 1. Your first question comes from Lisa Johnson with the Canadian Press. Your line is now open.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. This is for the Minister. Sorry, it's slightly unrelated, but it might be pertinent to some of the validators you have here. It's been just about 6 months, I think, since Premier Smith announced that the government is looking to essentially bar transgender female athletes from women's competition. Can you tell us what progress you've made on drafting that policy, and will it surface as regulations, legislation, or recommended guidelines for sporting organizations?
Sure. Thanks for that question, Lisa. Well, we're certainly not. Sports is for everyone, and we're going to make sure that that maintains the case. That remains the case. We're currently in the process of consulting with stakeholders across the province on the implementation of this policy to make sure we get it right. It's important that we find the balance between fairness, safety, and inclusion in sport, and I'm certain that we'll come to that. But right now, we're in the consultation process to make sure we get it right.
you have a follow-up, Lisa?
Yeah, thanks for that. We saw after the announcement some major sporting organizations have expressed concern about that potential policy. I'm wondering if you can tell us who exactly you've been consulting with, and maybe for Paula and Stephen, if you'd like to weigh in on whether or not you've spoken about this issue with the minister, or if that's ongoing, or what the status is there with your organizations.
I'm happy to say the consultation is ongoing with stakeholders from a variety of sectors in recreation and athletics and competitive, and want to make sure that we get it right. So once this policy is implemented, I think you'll have a better understanding of the extent of the consultation. What I can say is it's so important to find the balance of fairness and inclusion in sport, because recreation and sport is for everyone of all ages. And if you look at the track behind me and the announcement today, it's a perfect example of how committed our government is to making sure that we're hosting national, international sporting events that showcase the best Alberta has to offer. And that can't happen unless people have a chance to play and to recreate at early stages of their lives. And so I'm very excited about the future of athletics in the province of Alberta. I think we have some of the best the world has to offer, and we're seeing that on display at the Olympics this summer.
Operator, are there any more callers on the line?
No.
Seeing none, that brings us to the end of today's announcement. If you have any additional questions or follow-up, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My contact information is at the bottom of the news release. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.